Velocity time graph are the most important graphs as far as exam is concerned. Okay, so here also there will be different cases. We will see few graphs. So the first graph is if it is going like this. Okay, this is a velocity versus time graph. So it is clearly seen that a body is moving with an increasing velocity with respect to time. Okay, velocity is increasing with respect to time. But because of the linear graph, we can say that velocity is increasing at a constant rate. The rate of increase of velocity, even the rate of decrease of velocity is called as acceleration. Okay, so if it is increasing or decreasing at a constant rate, we call such type of graph as graph of uniform acceleration. Okay, velocity is increasing. Velocity is not uniform. Velocity is continuously increasing, but the rate at which it is increasing, it is fixed. So the fixed increase in velocity in fixed interval of time, that's why it will be a uniformly accelerated motion. Next graph is if there's a curve like this. Okay, so in velocity time graph, if velocity is increasing with unequal values in equal interval of time, then we call it as the motion is non-uniformly accelerated. Okay, so in all, if I go back to distance time graph, we were talking about velocities in distance time graph. Now, when we are talking about velocity time graph, so in velocity time graph, we are talking about acceleration. So with that logic, if we can just correlate and compare, we can say that gradient of velocity time graph will be acceleration. Gradient for a straight line graph, whichever you take, whichever 2 points you take, it will always be fixed. So we can call that gradient as uniform, and gradient is representing acceleration. So we'll call it as uniform acceleration. Then the next one is if it is velocity is increasing or decreasing at a non-uniform rate, then we call that thing as non-uniformly accelerated system. And that is how it will look. It will look like a curve. And the third case is if body is going like this. This is a velocity time graph, okay? And it is moving at a constant velocity. So this is a graph of constant velocity. Just try to compare this constant velocity of this graph and this graph. For a distance time graph or displacement time graph, constant velocity will look like this. For a velocity time graph, constant velocity will look like this. If velocity is constant, then I can say that acceleration is zero. So this is a graph of zero acceleration. Okay. Other than gradient for a velocity time graph, we'll look for another parameter, that is area. Area under velocity time graph gives us displacement. So you can write both the things, make both the graph, all three graphs, and comparative study displacement time and velocity time graph. And maybe after that, you will be in a better position to attempt graph-based questions.